Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word. We're going through Leviticus right now, and we're in chapter 20. And we're talking today, it's called Playing with the Devil. Now, you probably are thinking, oh, didn't you just talk about this? Yeah, it was talked about actually in chapter 19. But this was such a problem, and God wanted to deal with this, that he actually talks about it again here. Okay. And again, just like we talked about yesterday, the sacrificing to Moloch was a death sentence. Okay, dealing with the devil like this was also a death sentence. Okay, so yeah, you were separated from Israel if you had anything to do with devil worship, fortune telling, spiritist, and all that stuff. You're going to see today, we're going to turn then to 1 Samuel and see how this played out when someone tried to mess around with this. So this is it's entitled Playing with the Devil, and this is taken from Leviticus chapter 20, verses 6 and 7. It says this: I will set my face against anyone who turns to mediums and spiritists to prostitute themselves by following them. I will cut them off from the people. Okay, so I was wrong. It's not a death sentence, but it's excommunication. So if you're caught doing this, you go walking down the road and there's a fortune teller there. You walk into the fortune teller. Bye-bye. You're not an Israelite anymore. Okay? Verse 7, consecrate yourselves and be holy because I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and follow them. I am the Lord who makes you holy. Okay? You're supposed to involve yourself with God and not be involved with anything else. Okay? Now, I want you to turn to 1 Samuel 28, verses 3 through 20. This is where Saul this is the story of one of the parts of the life of Saul. In this story, Samuel has died a while back. And Saul is out to please his flesh. He's not serving God anymore at all. He's only there to serve himself. And he's the king. And the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord has left him, okay, because he's out to please himself. He's not pleasing the Lord. So the Spirit of the Lord has left him. And so when Saul wants instructions like, are you going to be with me in battle? The Lord doesn't answer him. Why would the Lord answer him when you're not living for the Lord, okay? And you're living just to please yourself. And so he's so distraught. Oh, what's he going to do? So he goes to, you might say, a fortune teller or a witch or whatever, and goes there, and you're going to see what happens here in this story. So this is taken from 1 Samuel chapter 28, and I'm going to read verses 3 through 20. Okay? It says, Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had mourned for him and buried him in his own town in Ramah. Saul had expelled the mediums and the spiritists from the land. Okay, so this was before when Samuel was alive. He had gotten rid of all the fortune tellers. So if you drove down the road, there wasn't a fortune teller place or a tarot card reading and all that stuff. None of that was supposed to be there. Okay, that was outlawed. It was illegal to be doing that. Okay, but let's keep reading. The Philistines assembled and came and set up a camp in Shunem, while Saul gathered all Israel and set up the camp at Gilboa. When Saul saw the Philistine army, he was afraid and terrified. Terror filled his heart. He inquired of the Lord, but the Lord did not answer him by dreams or the Urim or the prophets. Okay, there was no way God was answering him. Three different ways here, and the Urim and the Thummim was kind of like a guaranteed way, but the Lord was not answering him at all. Okay, because Saul wasn't living for the Lord. Verse 7, Saul then said to his attendants, Find me a woman who is a medium, so I may go and inquire of her. Well, that's odd, because he just outlawed it. All is illegal. Now he's saying, go find me one. Okay? So kind of there's this underground industry going on of mediums and fortune tellers. There is one in Endor, they said. So Paul disguised himself, putting on other clothes, and at night he and two men went to the woman. Consult a spirit for me, he said, and bring up for me the one I name. But the woman said to him, Surely you know that's what Saul has done. He has cut off the mediums and spiritists from the land. Why have you set a trap for me and my life to bring me to my death? Saul swore to her by the Lord. Oh, this is really great. He's there at the medium, and he swears by the Lord. Okay, really backwards here. As surely as the Lord lives, you will not be punished for this. Well, as surely as the Lord lives. He believes the Lord lives, yet he's not following the Lord, and he's going to a fortune teller. Verse 11. Then the woman asked, whom shall I bring up for you? Bring up Samuel, he said. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out at the top of her voice and said to Saul, why have you deceived me? You are Saul. The king said to her, don't be afraid. What do you see? The woman said, I see a ghostly figure coming out up from the earth. What does he look like? He asked. An old man wearing a robe is coming up, she said. Then Saul knew it was Samuel, and he bowed down and prostrated himself with his face to the ground. This is kind of backwards and odd. Everything about this is all backwards. He's going to a medium because he's not serving the Lord, yet he makes a vow saying the Lord lives, okay? Then he goes to the medium and asks for her to bring up a godly person, a person that loves the Lord, okay? And so when she sees this godly person, she freaks out. Anyway, let's keep reading. Verse 15, Samuel said to Saul, why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? I am in great distress, Saul said. The Philistines are fighting against me, and God has departed from me. He no longer answers me, either by prophets or by dreams. So I have called on you to tell me what to do. Samuel said, why do you consult me, now that the Lord has departed from you and become your enemy? Right here, Saul tells it just like Samuel tells it just like it is. Like, God has departed from you, and you're now his enemy. The Lord has done what he predicted through me. The Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hands and given it to one of your neighbors, to David. Because you did not obey the Lord or carry out the fierce wrath against the Amalekites, the Lord has done this to you today. The Lord will deliver both Israel both Israel and you into the hands of the Philistines. And tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. Be with me, that means in death. The Lord will also give the army of Israel into the hands of the Philistines. Verse 20. Immediately Saul fell full length to the ground and filled with fear because of Samuel's words. His strength was gone, for he had eaten nothing all that day and all that night. Okay? When we start not following God, we do things to please ourselves, and we do foolish things, okay? And again, Saul was about pleasing himself, and again, then he does some foolish things, like going to the medium here to consult, to bring up Samuel, okay? Everything is backward about that. But the point I want you to see from this whole thing is messing around with anything that's demonic, which the fortune tellers and the mediums and so forth, that's all demonic. And God is saying, don't mess with that stuff. If you do, you're separated from Israel, okay? You are not to be a part of this nation. And in the same way, that's not something we're to be messing around with at all. You need to stay far away from that stuff. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Leviticus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.